Hello, welcome to the Nabila Show on Muftau Nabila Abdullah YouTube channel, your home of exclusivity. With me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Some few weeks ago, or a little over a month ago, the Nabila Show reported that 5 players of Kumasi Asante Kotoko have taken the club to the Player Status Committee of the Ghana Football Association, demanding a total of about 200,000 Ghana cedis. These players accused the club of constructive termination of contract. Stephen Eyiku, Abbas Mohammed, Calvin Ando, Evans Yeboah, and Douglas Owusu Ansah. However, the Douglas Owusu Ansah issue is yet to be resolved. We do know that the Douglas Owusu Ansah issue, Kotoko wants to solve that issue without appearing before the Player Status Committee. Martin Enchu also have his own issues, as mentioned in the previous episode of the Nabila Show, where we mentioned about all the issues that were related to Kotoko. The management, per our understanding, will try and resolve those issues because they feel that the FA have taken a certain position which is against the club, and they are not certain that even if they have all facts, they will win cases. So they want to resolve these two issues with the players outside the Player Status Committee. Now, the ruling of the FA said that the Porcupine Warriors constructively terminated the contracts of these players. Per what I reported some months ago, these players never had their contracts terminated. However, there were breaches to the contracts. Their contracts were not terminated in the sense that there is no documentation anywhere signed by either the player or the club indicating that they've parted company with any of these players. But when the players went before the Player Status Committee, they said that Kotoko terminated their contracts. Kotoko, in their defense, asked for documentations and evidences that your contracts with us have been terminated. These were not provided. However, in the ruling of the GFA, these things never came up. You would recall that in the November edition of the Nabila Show, I mentioned that after some of the players left the Player Status Committee, they were owed salaries of, say, October. Kotoko quickly made payments to these players. If the contracts were terminated, I'm wondering how Kotoko was going to make those payments. However, let's stick to the facts per what we've been able to gather from all parties involved. Per the regulations of the FA, clubs are supposed to register 30 players for season. Kotoko had over 30 players. Per what we picked up, former coach Maxwell Konedu presented a list of 19 players he wanted to work with. So they were supposed to maybe include more players or sign more players to meet the required number. So the players he said he was no longer going to work with, the club decided to look for loan deals for these players. Some of them were not able to go on the loan deals because they rejected the loan offers. I know some of these players, i.e. Evans Owusu. There was supposed to be a loan possibility to Kerala. Stephen Eyiku had to return from Legon Cities on loan because Legon City said they were not going to renew his loan deal. And even that, they were not willing to pay his salary. So Kotoko was supposed to bear the cost of his salary. So these players, when the club or when the coach told them that they are not going to be part of his plans for the season, these players went to the club requesting that their contracts with the club are terminated and they should be paid off. The argument of Kotoko was that why should we pay you off when you have come requesting that we mutually part ways. If you want to terminate your contract with us and you move on to a different club and we pay you off, it means we've lost double. Because when you move on, we are not going to benefit from you. So, this your request is one thing we cannot honor. Okay. So if you're not going to honor the termination of the contract, what then happens? Per the FIFA regulations, you must provide a qualified coach to train these players. In other jurisdictions, we see that the players are demoted to the U19 or U20 or U23 team of the senior team. But in Kotoko's case, there's nothing like that. So it means that Kotoko breached a contract with these players by not being able to provide them suitable grounds to train. And no Martin entry, despite being told that he was not going to be part of the plans of the team for the season, kept going for training sessions. They kept going for training sessions until such a point that he felt frustrated because he was not given the new keys provided by area, and he was spending his money to come to training ground and complained to Maxwell that he was not going to come to training again and all that. But the other players wanted termination of contract and a payoff. Kingsley Effa took a payoff of 1 month. Patrick Yeboah, who went to Mediama, took a payoff of 2 months. But these players, the other players, wanted their sign-on fees, which is, it is not even sign-on fees, it is called enticement fees, which is their right to take anyway. But the point is that when they went before the Player Status Committee, they said their contracts have been terminated by Kotoko. Kotoko said, provide evidence that we have terminated a contract with you. These evidences never came to the table. However, the GFA Status Committee still ruled in favor of the players. Well, Kotoko expressed their intent to appeal the decision, but the lacuna in the regulations of the FA, i.e. the statutes, Premier League regulations, Code of Ethics, and all that, is that there is no room for an appeal when the decisions are made by the Player Status Committee or the Players Status Committee. So Kotoko wrote to the FA on Monday, January 25, 2021, and Tuesday, January 26, 2021. The Monday letter that the Nabila show got hold of about 6-7 p.m. wanted the FA to respond by 10 a.m., giving them guidance as to how they can appeal. The Tuesday letter, which Kotoko wrote to the FA, came to the attention of the Nabila show as early as 11 to 12 noon, telling the GFA to give them a response by 14 hours GMT. However, the GFA did not give the response to provide them the guidelines as to how they can appeal. However, Kotoko has still gone ahead to appeal the decision of the Player Status Committee, though no regulations and how much is required of them to pay is made available. The appeals committee are in a way that they can only hear cases from the disciplinary committee and the ethics committee. But the Player Status Committee, when the normalization committee revamped the statutes, they took that power away from the appeals committee. So they cannot hear cases brought by clubs when they are unhappy. That's what has happened to the regulations. But Kotoko has gone ahead to pay 12,000 Ghana cedis, using the fees one is supposed to pay when appealing a decision from the ethics committee or the disciplinary committee, which says that if you are to appeal any decision from these two parties, you pay 3,000 Ghana cedis. So Kotoko has paid 12,000 Ghana cedis for all these players. Kotoko took the decision to appeal despite not getting a response from the FA because, per what we are picking up, they do not intend to pay the monies to the players. The decisions of the Player Status Committee are not enforceable until the Decisional Committee says so. Look at it this way. If you read the letters the GFA sent to Kotoko, they said that if you fail to make these payments as we have asked you to, we'll refer you to the Decisional Committee. What it means is that it's all the Decisional Committee that can force Kotoko to make the payment. But that will come with sanctions anyway. So, Kotoko do not want to pay. They want it to go to a Decisional Committee. Kotoko will appear before the Decisional Committee and notify them of their grievances. When sanctions are taken against the club, then they can go to the Appeals Committee. And when they go to the Appeals Committee, the interesting thing that would happen is that they intend to invoke the jurisdiction of the Appeals Committee to look at the flaws in the statutes and the other regulations of the FA, especially the Player Status Committee. They believe that it is only the Appeals Committee that can ensure that the GFA correct all these lacunas available in their statutes. So that is what the club has done as we speak. People have been talking about the issue of Abbas Mohammed, Evans Yeboah, and Abbas Mohammed's issue is not an isolated one. We're not referring to the Abbas Mohammed who went to Midiama SC from Kotoko. We are referring to the Abbas Mohammed who went to play quote and unquote gutter-to-gutter football and was suspended by the club a year or two ago. The left back. You would recall that in the NC special competitions, Kotoko opening game against Ediana Stars, he scored the fastest goal in the competition. Within 40-something seconds, he scored for Kotoko. We are referring to that Abbas Mohammed. Then head coach Maswa Konedu had told him that, I have Imore Ibrahim, Patrick Asma has come, Patrick Yeboah too is around, then we have Evans Yeboah. So even on the pecking order, you're too far away. So look for options elsewhere. But again, there are no documentations anywhere that shows Kotoko terminating the contract of its players. All the players have gone through the process. All the players, some of them requested for termination of contract. They wanted Kotoko to pay them off. Some of them were demanding for, say, if you have an enticement fee of, say, 70,000 or 75,000 Ghana cedis, they want Kotoko to pay, say, 60,000 Ghana cedis. The club told them that we'll spread your money and pay it to you. But that's not what the players want. The players want, say, 50,000 Ghana cedis, give me 40,000 and spread the 10,000. But Kotoko said, we met a debt of 1.6 million. So let's meet each other halfway if we are parting ways. I either spread and give it to you, or I pay you half. But per what we gather from both the players and Kotoko, they couldn't come to middle grounds because the players feel that this is my money. You signed on to it. You should give me my money, which is understandable. Kotoko also says that it will be extremely unfair on us that you are moving away from your contract and we'll have to pay you in full. Per what the Player Status Committee has done, it's quite interesting because it shows that players can hold clubs ransom for their monies, despite asking that they should have their contracts terminated. Kotoko also say, this decision by the Player Status Committee, should we move ahead to pay the players? We owe so many players sign-on fees worth 1.6 million Ghana cedis. Everyone will start coming, or everyone will start going to the Player Status Committee to make demands because they know if they go there, we'll pay. So at this point, it's quite dicey for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. But as they have indicated in their letter, if the FA refers them or if the Player Status Committee refers them to the disciplinary committee, they will go there, sanctions are made, they file an appeal at the appeals committee, try to let the appeals committee correct the lacunas in their regulations. If you're not satisfied, or if the appeals committee decides to uphold the decisions of the Player Status Committee and the Disciplinary Committee, what it means is that Kotoko will have no options than to head to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Are we going to get there? Time is the answer. This has been the Nabila Show. I am Muftau Nabila Abdullahi.